Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is September 8th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. I'm focused on Southern California right now because we're going to play through what happened yesterday. Had hundreds of lightning strikes out there. We're going to go through that. We talked about that the previous day here, and we're going to have additional thunderstorm activity most likely as we go through the day today. And we'll take a look at the extended forecast as we always do as we go through the video. So let's go ahead and play this through. And you see we had that mid-level moisture out there. And as we got going through the afternoon heating, you can see those thunderstorms first pop up across some of the peninsular range all the way up into California. But then watch what happens as we go through the afternoon. The transverse range getting a few storms, some storms across the desert areas. Lightning just continuing, thunderstorm activity continuing across the higher terrain out over some of the desert areas. Hundreds of lightning strikes as you can see. Very active day there yesterday. And you can see northwest Arizona getting in the action as well. So we scroll on in through the nighttime hours, and you'll see some of these thunderstorms went all the way on in through the nighttime here. We got this little convective system out there that just was with us right on the California-Arizona border all the way on in through early this morning. We start to emerge out to where we are right now, and you'll see the lightning strikes continuing. You see the sun rise here in this convective system just kind of continuing to rotate across the border. This monsoon moisture associated with it. And this is where we are right now. Here's the Salton Sea, and you can see that lightning just continuing. So heads up for that. And again, we're going to go through this today across the higher terrain, especially outside of San Diego. There is a slight chance some of those storms could drift out over some of the lower elevations as well. So more on that here in a moment. So we have rain possible coming up here. There is a system that's going to be swinging mainly through the Pacific Northwest, but it could be bringing some precipitation and clipping northern portions of California. That is for Tuesday morning, September 10th through Thursday evening, September 12th. So this is the chances of getting greater than a tenth of an inch. We're starting that seasonal change here, starting to get a little bit of a mid-latitude cyclone down here. It's always nice to see. Here we got the scattered storms inland today. This is San Diego National Weather Service. You can see San Diego would be right about here. You cannot rule out a thunderstorm out towards the coastal areas. San Clemente is right there. There's San Diego. And look at Big Bear Lake and Idlewild there, 54%. Palm Springs under the gun here as well. Thermal, Joshua Tree National Park, heads up. The 40, 15, the 10, the 8, watch out today. Thunderstorm activity is quite likely. I also wanted to point this out up towards Reno and some of the eastern slopes of the Sierra Nevada. There is red flag warning all the way through 8 p.m. tonight. Some gusty winds, low relative humidities out there. So be careful with that. If you're out and about, you can see Lake Tahoe would be here. And this is where the red flag warning areas are. It does include Topaz Lake. So looking at today's thunderstorm outlook from Las Vegas National Weather Service, it does cover portions of California. And again, there is that thunderstorm chance. Las Vegas about 22%. Better chances across northwest Arizona and across the higher terrain of Southern California. And you could run into some of that isolated flash flooding and gusty, erratic winds that we'll take a look at here in a moment. But you can see that general thunderstorm risk here. It does include portions of Southern California and Nevada here up into the Pacific Northwest, a lot of Arizona and Utah as well. Taking a look at what's coming tomorrow. So this activity starts to eventually push off to the east, as you can see. You can't rule out a couple more thunderstorms here, but the activity should be on the wane. And this would be day 3. We're looking all the way out towards Tuesday morning to Wednesday morning. So lightning flash density potential today. Here's the high resolution rapid refresh. Put that into motion, and you can clearly see the favored area here for the higher terrain in Southern California out towards Las Vegas. Again, cannot rule out thunderstorm activity here. And then as we go through the nighttime hours, it doesn't look like we're going to have one of those convective, mesoscale convective systems as we go through the night tonight into tomorrow morning. But then we look off into Monday, and you can see that thunderstorm threat mainly kicking off to the east. But you still can't rule out a couple lightning strikes there across Baja. So taking a closer look, composite reflectivity on the high resolution rapid refresh. I'll put this into motion, and you can see these storms develop as we go through the day today. Los Angeles Metro is right here. There's San Diego getting pretty close. Some of the foothill areas there as well. There's Palm Springs right here, and you can see Las Vegas would be up to the top of this map. There's the California-Arizona border there. And in fact, since I forgot, let me turn on the green circle there so it's easy for you to follow along. But again, yeah, here we go through this afternoon. Those thunderstorms are going to develop again almost certainly across the higher terrain of Southern California, and finally wane as we go through the evening hours. Looking at composite reflectivity on the North American model, same map here. Put that into motion for this afternoon, and you can clearly see a good agreement there for that thunderstorm activity developing as we go through the day today. So let's take a wider view of things here at 18,000 feet or 500 millibars. So this map gives a nice idea of what's going on and where the general trough and ridge positions are. We've had some heat, and we've had this ridge in place. But as we put this into motion, you'll notice a change coming here as the system swoops down out of the north and west across Pacific Northwest. You got the European artificial intelligence model on the left versus the GFS on the right. That's the American model. Pretty good model agreement, as you can see on the track of that initial system. Trough hangs out for a bit, and then we get development of another one here. You can see the European keeping that a little bit more off the shoreline here. That would bring a little bit better chances of precipitation here. This is more of an inside slider look here on the GFS. The track of that system will have big implications on what kind of weather we're going to get here across the state of California. And then we scroll off into the future there. Looks like that gets reinforced a bit. But I also noticed this, the models are showing as we look way off into Fantasyland, way out there, as we start to get towards September 19th and 20th, we may even get some more ridging here across some of the western portions of the USA. It's still September after all. You know, technically, we're still in summertime here, and we could easily get another warm up as we go through the end of the month. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. Now, taking a look at the European artificial intelligence, let's want to scroll ahead here, and you'll see we have that system moving down through the northwest, just clipping northern portions here, not a big precipitation maker. And then we start to look off into the future, and as that troughing starts to set up here, you can see the European starting to bring some precipitation down across portions of California here. You don't want to get too excited just yet. We're still looking quite a ways off in the future, but that's not a bad look here. So we'll just kind of take that and run with it and check back on it on a daily basis there as we go over the next few days. And looking at 2-meter temperature anomaly, this is where we are currently, and you can clearly see that we are going to be going through a cool down coming up, and that's going to be quite nice. There's that initial system swinging through, and then the redevelopment of the trough. Let's see what it looks like. Look at that. Would be very interesting as we go through the mid portion of September, start to go out towards the 18th and 19th. That would be quite nice, getting a break from the heat. But then a caution here, because summer is not over yet, folks, or at least temperature-wise. As you can see, that starts to return as we go through the later portion of September. Still pretty warm out there. We'll see how that trends. I also going to want to show you this. This is about 2,500 feet off the surface. This is the thunderstorm activity as we go through the day today. Watch these erratic, gusty outflow winds across the Peninsula Range and maybe some of the transverse range, some of the desert areas up into Nevada, across the Sierra Nevada. You got the strong southwesterlies coming across as well. That's why there are some red flag warnings that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, gusty, erratic outflow winds. So watch out if you're traveling back and forth across the highways in the desert, going back towards Arizona or Las Vegas, back down towards Southern California. Watch out for those winds, especially with thunderstorm activity as we go through this afternoon and evening. Now, taking a look at total precipitation in inches, I'm just going to run through this really quick because you can see kind of that scattered nature of the storms coming up here over the next day. And then as we go off into the extended, some troughing around, the European showed a little bit of precipitation. This is more like a fun forecast here, just kind of a fantasy. But just looking that we do have some chance of precipitation here coming up with that troughing through the extended forecast. Now, this is looking at Mexico there. There's Baja and there's California up to the very top left here. There's Southern California, there's Arizona here. So what we're looking at here is for any kind of tropical system development. As we go on into the future here, you can see this system spinning up here continues to show on the models. We're about 120 hours out. This would be about Thursday night. And you can see this slug of moisture kind of moving up towards the southwest portion of the USA. Some of that tries to make its way into portions of California, but then if that next trough does come, it is going to quickly eject that off to the east, and that won't be that big of a deal. But we will watch this because you can see it's a pretty interesting look as that tropical system tries to bring a slug of moisture up into the southwest USA. Of course, we'll be breaking that down day by day. So if we look at the European here, this is mean sea level pressure map. You got the Hawaiian Islands at the bottom left. You got California right there. Let's put this into motion and we'll take a look at the extended forecast. There goes that system moving through midweek coming up. But what we're looking for here is generally any tropical system moving up or any kind of high pressure setting up over the interior areas in the Great Basin driving an offshore wind event. So we scroll off into the future and you can kind of see that start to emerge here as we go through hour 264. This will be about September 18th at nighttime, about 7 or 11 p.m. But you can see that this high pressure there, that would be driving some offshore winds. So we'll watch this time frame. That has been showing up in the models. You can see that kind of centered right over the Great Basin here. That would be not a bad offshore wind event here, not a bad pressure gradient setting up. So we'll watch that closely as we go through the extended forecast and perhaps lasting for a couple days there as well. But no promises just yet. Just taking a peek at the crystal ball. Now looking at the national blend of models, this is today, Sunday, September 8th, And you can see this is Monday, and you can see it's not too big of a drop there for Monday. Tuesday, you start to feel a little bit of a cool down, and there's Wednesday, especially northern portions here, might feel a little brisk across some of the higher terrain, Klamath Range, Cascade, some of the Sierra Nevada, and then we go through Thursday, and we kind of keep things a little bit suppressed here, and then maybe keeping them suppressed as we go through the extended forecast, as that troughing could be hanging around some of the west coast here. So at least we'd be dropping off from the excessive heat we have been dealing with. Even some of the deserts in Arizona will be getting some relief. And this is the average temperature for the last 30 days. You can see kind of a mixed bag here. That once you get to the yellow, you're above average, and then of course you take the steps up. But you can see some in Northern California and Oregon and Nevada have actually been below average in the last 30 days. However, if you go back 60 days, you can see virtually all of California has been above average for this time of year since July 10th. And 90 days, pretty stark signal there. A very warm meteorological summer. Some places their record warmest meteorological summer, which is June, July, and August. So yeah, a lot of the West really baking this year. And this is, I'll zoom in on that. This is total precipitation anomaly. This can be deceiving a little bit here because you can see a lot of California just did not get any rain, but you don't get that much rain at this time of year. Nice graphic here from the Oregon State University Climate Group. Taking a look at normal precipitation here in September. And again, this is kind of showing you what point I just made on the last slide. But you can see we don't get a lot of precipitation across the state of California, especially from many of the valley areas. So when you're off by a little bit, you know, the percentages can get skewed quite easily. But now looking towards October, you can see we start to pick up the precipitation here along the west coast, especially the Pacific Northwest. Then we go on in through November. This is monthly average precipitation. You see the Sierra Nevada starting to get in the action, of course, Northwest California and some of the coastal areas. Then we go to December as well. So yeah, that's when storm season starts picking up. Here's the 6 to 10 day. You can see the below average signal across the west coast. There's the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Take that with a grain of salt. You know, we'll see how these systems go. Check back daily, and I'll keep you updated. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. Channel is doing great. Can't wait for things to pick up. And again, watch out for that thunderstorm activity here today. And yeah, hopefully you guys can check back in tomorrow. Otherwise, have a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.